What's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about Amazon Relay and what insurance you have to have before you get started. So if you'll go to relay.amazon.com/get-started, you'll come to this page here and you'll find the insurance requirements for Amazon Relay. So to start off, you'll see that they want you to have commercial general liability with no less than a $1 million per occurrence and a $2 million aggregate. They also want you to have auto liability with no less than a $1 million per occurrence limit. It also mentions that they want you to have trailer replacement coverage with a $50,000 limit. That only pertains to you if you are going to be hauling with a tractor. If you're in a box truck, you're obviously not going to be hooked to any type of trailer, so you won't need that coverage there. And the next is cargo coverage. They want to see $100,000 of coverage for cargo. That's industry standard. I mean, pretty much everyone you haul for is going to want to see at least $100,000, so that's a good limit to have. And then last is workers' compensation and employer liability. That's the same thing, goes hand in hand. It says with no less than $100,000 limit. We usually write that at $1 million because there's such a fractional price difference between $100,000 and $1 million that it'd be crazy not to go with the $1 million coverage if that works for you. So we recommend going with $1 million for that. So I put a certificate of insurance together, an example certificate, to go over with you guys. So it'll help me break down these coverages for you and try to help better explain it. And at the same time, I'm also going to explain what a certificate is and you know what all's on it to people that may be new to the industry. So up the top, you have, it says producer information or your agency information, who you have your insurance with. It's got their company name with their address along with the contact phone number and email. And then down here in this section, there will be your company name along with your company address. And over here in this section is the insurance companies that your coverage is with. So that kind of explains the top portion of the certificate in case you're new to this and you need to know those things. So the first type of coverage on the certificate of insurance is commercial general liability. So as you saw on Amazon Relay's site, they want you to have a $1 million per occurrence with a $2 million aggregate. So that's pretty much industry standard as far as coverage limits go for general liability. It usually comes with these coverages as well, the $100,000 for damage to premises rented to you. So if you're renting a property, say for storage or it's a brick and mortar location for your business, most of the time the landlord is going to have property coverage on that location, but this coverage here offers $100,000 of additional coverage if you cause damage to that location, say by fire or something like that. But you could potentially offer $100,000 of additional coverage for that. And then next is medical expense for any one person. So if someone is on your location and gets injured, has to go to the hospital, maybe has a gash, has to get sewed up, or broke a limb and needs to get casted, you could potentially offer them $5,000 or your insurance will pay up to $5,000 for medical expenses for that individual. And then next here is personal and advertising injury. What that is if you say stole someone's slogan and you were profiting off of that other company saw that you stole their slogan and they come after you, they sue you. This coverage here is to cover you for those types of things. And then here you'll see the general aggregate along with the products and completed operations aggregate. So an aggregate, pretty much that's what the policy will pay for the entire policy period. So if you'll see here, it's January 1 of 2021 through January 1 of 2022. The most that this general liability policy will pay in liability claims is $2 million for that entire policy period. So they'll pay up to $1 million for a single claim for a single liability occurrence, but no more than $2 million for that entire policy period. So they could potentially pay $2 million claims for $500,000 claims, however that breaks down, but those are your limits, $1 million per occurrence and $2 million for the entire policy period. The second coverage section on the certificate is automobile liability, and that also has a $1 million per occurrence limit. So if you're just getting started, to activate your authority, if you're hauling general freight, majority of the time you only need $750,000 limits. But just like you see here with Amazon and most brokers and carriers you're going to haul for, they're going to want to see $1 million for that auto liability limit. So that's typically what we write. That covers you for anything that you may be at fault for while operating the vehicle for your business, and that covers bodily injury, so to people, and then property damage if you damage someone's property, whether it's their vehicle or like a building, a structure, something along those lines. But that's your auto liability, the second coverage, and the second coverage on your certificate of insurance. The third thing you'll see here is workers' compensation coverage, and like I mentioned before, Amazon Relay, they only want you to have $100,000 of coverage for that, but I recommend having $1 million of coverage for it, just because the price difference is so fractional between $100,000 of coverage and $1 million of coverage that it's usually worth going with $1 million. And then the last thing on the certificate that you'll see is your cargo coverage. And what cargo covers you for, if you're new to this, it covers property that you're hauling for hire. So property of others, usually in transit. Say you have a water leak in your trailer, your box, and cause damage to those goods. This could potentially cover that. Or say you get in some type of accident and cause damage to those goods. This coverage here is meant to cover those types of claims. Alright guys, well that pretty much wraps up the insurance you're going to need to get started with Amazon Relay. But if you have additional questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm going to put my contact information in the description below. So if you have any additional questions regarding Amazon Relay or anything else trucking or insurance related, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you.